Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. We have another episode of Agree to Disagree. We're here Friday. You know the score. And we have a special guest today, even though he's been on the channel before and he won't consider himself special. But we have Sava from Football Heritage TV. How you doing, Sava?
I'm good. I'm not sure most of the YouTube viewers would consider me to be special, but thanks for having me back. And it's a pleasure to be here with these esteemed YouTubers such as you three. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, big up to you, man. Big up to you. We got Dan Potts in the building. Dan, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. Aside from Arsenal, I'm good, bro. Yeah, can't complain about anything other than them at the moment, bro. Big up to everybody. Smash the likes. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following everyone, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. We got the other Dan as well, Chelsea fan. Big weekend, man. Big weekend. But how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. In a good mood. I mean, this weekend's going to be massive. I'm looking forward to it. But pleasure to be here as always, and good to speak to all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up to everyone who's locked in. Big up to as well, John Free, man. He's just gifted 5 memberships. So if you received them 5 memberships, shout out to John Free. You get me for giving them out, man. You know what I'm saying? Always respect to everyone who gives memberships out. But listen, we can only start off with a game that is going to be happening on Sunday, and that is the game. It's Chelsea versus Arsenal. I put the title, Dan, and I'll start with you, Dan Potts. Arsenal must win or must not lose. Because if you lose, it's technically, I wouldn't say it's technically over, but momentum-wise, it's a huge blow. You know what I mean? And you could be potentially 10 points behind Liverpool if they win. But if you win, then obviously you get that momentum back. International break comes down next time. You're in the groove and that. How are you feeling like in terms of that? Must win or must not lose?
Must win.
Yeah.
Simple as that. We've put ourselves in this mess now. We've put ourselves in this position. And, well, the manager has put ourselves in this position. My Wi-Fi is moving mad, by the way, so apologies if I'm cutting out a bit. But, can you hear me, Said?
Yeah, can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry, I think I'm on a lag or something. But yeah, man, look, we're in a situation at the moment where we've put ourselves in an absolute mess. The way we're playing, tactically a joke. The manager's been really poor. The tactics 5 years in, £700 million deep, I'm sure wasn't a plan to be lofted it into the box and hopefully it hits Gabriel or Havertz on the bonce and goes in, because that's the way we're playing at the moment. It's an absolute joke. It is not good to watch. It is quite embarrassing how bad we've been in terms of the quality that we've got on the pitch. There's an over-reliance on Saka to deliver well. There's massive problems at the moment with lacking Odegaard. And we've seen this before, Saeed. Like, this is the problem with the manager, right? We missed out on the league 2 years ago. He couldn't replace him. We lost the league. Last season, we had problems trying to replace Granit Xhaka, who, by the way, nobody wanted for 5-6 years, including myself. Still haven't managed to do that. We've still not replaced Aubameyang since buying him in 2018. He's the only number 9 that we've actually bought. And then I look at the situation now of Odegaard, and he's not been able to replace him either. We've still got no cover for Saka. Raheem Sterling's been brought into the club, and he's now behind Zinchenko in the pecking order. We are 1-0 down at St James's Park, and he's bringing on Zinchenko and Jorginho to win us the game. I think he's lost his head, man. I really do at the moment, and he needs to get back on track. I've seen Arsenal under Mikel Arteta play well. In 22-23, we were going for a top 4 race. We found ourselves in a title race, and we were blitzing teams, scintillating to watch. Everyone was talking about us. Can they do it? Can they keep it up? Last season, we started off pretty resolute, but after Dubai in January, we were smashing 4, 5s, and 6s past teams. For some reason, this manager has now gone back to, I'm so scared to concede a goal. Let's just be defensive. Now, that's fine. You know, Savile will know with Conte that that's the style you play. But when you're not winning games, it's abysmal to watch. It's absolutely appalling to watch. Because this isn't Mourinho and Simeone and Conte and George Graham. That's an insult to those managers. They won stuff doing this. We're not winning games doing this. We're losing 1-0 or drawing 0-0 or we're losing 2-1. This is an absolute rubbish Arsenal and version of Arteta's Arsenal that I'm watching. And if things don't change quickly, we will be out of a title race. I mean, we're not going to win the league anyway. I said that as soon as our summer window shut. It was an absolute shambles of a window. How anyone gave that any more than a 5 out of 10, you are just having the old copium pills, really. Because if you're going for a title race and you think that Raheem Sterling is the answer to get you across the line in your forward line, you are absolutely deluded. I don't know how to help you. Now, Marino's come in, by the way. I'm still not sure what this midfielder is, but everyone tells me he's quality because he won the Euros. This guy has got no athleticism whatsoever. He's just a big lump in midfield. He's standing around the place, waiting for another one to line up with his big tall boys to try and get it on his bonds to score a goal. That is all I'm saying at the moment. Give it the word of God, give it to Saka, cross it in, and one of these tall lads might be able to head it in. Is this what is this the process? 5 years, we're ready to win the league like this. Everyone line up. If you're 6'4", come and have a Arsenal. That's what it looks like at the moment. It's just a shambles.
Yeah, literally is, you know.
Milan. We're going to Inter Milan, and they've got 5 players out, by the way, that they bought on, like Barella and co. And they're going, I think this Arsenal team are crap. I'm going to make 5 changes and try and beat Napoli at the weekend. We might not win, but there we go. And then the next minute, we're 1-0 down. And we are going to the San Siro, and I've got Arsenal fans telling me, I thought that was an all-right performance. How low have the standards dropped? How low have your standards dropped to think that 1-0 loss away to San Siro is good? But look, I've said enough about this manager before. I've said enough about this ownership and this regime. I never thought it was going to work. I never trusted the process. And it sounds like Edu, who's been telling everybody to trust the process, doesn't trust the process either because he's gone. So I just don't understand what is happening at this football club, mate. But at the moment, we need to fix up. This weekend is a must-win game. And if we do not win, we are out of the title race. Oh, it's only 11 games. Calm down, Dan. Stop being negative. No, we are out of the title race if we lose on Sunday. I don't care how loud I have to say it. We are out. Because look at the performances, look at the momentum, and look at how crap we are. We are one of the worst footballing teams to watch right now. I'd rather watch Southampton and Leicester than Arsenal because at least they're giving it a go. We are absolutely abysmal. And, mate, it might be an overreaction if you want to throw that at me, but just open your eyes, man. Really.
You know what? It's mad, you know, when you deep it, like, you know, Arsenal in November are just like they're not inspiring anyone. They're not doing anything at the minute. I mean, Sava, from looking in, it's not looking great, is it? Like in terms of being one-dimensional, the kind of transfers that have come through, it's not clicking, is it, man? You know, and that's what you would associate with Arsenal, at least minimum, good football. You get to see some good football, it's entertaining, and then you go from there. But at the minute, there's no joy really right now in the minute.
Yeah, do you know what? I think over the last 2 years, what we've seen is, and as a Spurs fan, I've actually enjoyed watching Arsenal. And like that's bad to say, right? Like, but if I take my hat off, you know, Arsenal have been playing some really good stuff, and it feels like this year, I don't know what's happened at the club, but it feels like they've really come away from that exciting brand of football, and they've become very pragmatic. And, you know, being pragmatic's fine. When you need to be pragmatic, you know, you're away at Man City with 10 men. I get it. You're going to be pragmatic, you know, but all the other games, Arsenal should be blowing these teams away that they're playing. Look, I never thought, I agree with Dan's sentiment there that, you know, when I saw Arsenal's transfer window, look, do I think it was the worst in terms of building out a squad? You know, I think like in terms of bodies, no. Did it add that wow factor that said, we're serious to go one better than the last 2 years? I don't think it did. And look, straight away, when you look at the forward options, like forget City for a moment. They've won it for how many years? when you look at the forward options of an Arsenal versus the forward options of the nearest challengers in Liverpool, Liverpool have just got goal scorers. Like whatever you think of them, Nunes, Gakpo, Jota, Salah, Diaz, like they all chip in with goals, whether it be 10 a season or 20 a season. Arsenal just don't seem to have that outside of Saka unless he's doing well. So for me, look, I think Arsenal are a good team, but I just feel like they've missed the opportunity the last 2 years to really say, right, this is us. We want to be City's equal. We don't want to be the poor relation that finishes 2 points behind or 5. We really want to overtake. And for me, what that would have looked like for Arsenal would have been a Victor Gyökeres, another. It is Victor, isn't it? Victor Gyökeres, yeah, another Victor.
Yeah, Victor Gyökeres.
Yeah, and the same the Victor that ruined us last night, Victor Osimhen, right?
Like
Arsenal needed someone that they might not be in the game for 90 minutes, but boom, boom, goals, right? Good, like, you know what I mean? Instead, they've got a lot of forwards that do a lot of nice stuff. You know, Jesus does some stuff and Havertz does some stuff, but none of them are clinical, proven goal scorers that can get you over the line. So, look, I'm going to disagree slightly with that. I think they're out the title race now, if I'm honest. I feel like it's such a long way back. 7 points is 3 wins, and I can't see City and Arsenal and Liverpool losing another 3 games, if I'm honest, all season. And if Arsenal were to win the title, they just have to not win a game or lose a game all season. So I think this is going to be another season for Arsenal where they're in there or thereabouts. I just don't think they're quite good enough for the title.
Wow, man, 3 years in, man, it's mad, bro, because, boy, it's like Chelsea are going to get better. And I know, listen, I hate to say it, but you know what I mean? Like, everyone, every year gets sussed out. And I'm not saying Arsenal not be sussed out because I still think they'll be challenging next year. But it's like, this was the year, man. When I look at Man City now, bro, they're there for the taking, Man City, in terms of this weekend against Brighton. Like, I'm putting Brighton to win this weekend. You know, I never would say that. And the Liverpool have not won a title, not got a kind of a good signing this summer. You know, you look, Chiesa has been injured. They bought the keeper, but he's not arrived until next year. And yes, they've had a good squad, but so have Arsenal meant to be having a good squad by now. By now, Arsenal should have had a good squad. Say, listen, we're here to win the league this year. We're not messing around. And yet, when I look at it now, I'm like, them signings were dreadful, man. Like,
why did no one think it was at the time? This is what I can't stand about
maybe
it.
Because you kind of had your squad and it was kind of just a key little. But we did say though the striker was key though. We did. I think everyone said not getting a striker was awful from Arsenal.
But that window shut, and I did a show, and I said,
like Smith Rowe and Nketiah, you said that all summer long. Like that's gonna come back and bite us.
Yeah.
And now look, you were the only one voicing that. I remember people giving you sticks saying we don't need to worry about this. We're moving on to better things. And now look, you've been proven right because you were the one that saw what happens if we get injuries in those areas.
I really hate. I mean, look, I actually argue with more Arsenal fans than I do rival fans. It's actually a joke. How can no one see that when that window shuts, right? That we have no striker, no backup for Saka, because apparently Sterling, where's he now? He can't play at the weekend, and he didn't even come on against Inter Milan. He's given up on it already. Zinchenko is ahead of him in the pecking order now. That's how bad it's got, right? And we've got Marino's coming, which doesn't look much of an upgrade on El Neni, let alone Smith Rowe. But Calafiori, another left back injury prone player. And then we've got 20 million that we were going to spend on Juan Garcia, the Espanyol goalkeeper, not on a striker. This is what I don't get what we're doing here in the summer. And when that shut, I said to Turkish, I said to Troops, and I said to Curtis, we ain't serious. And they all agreed. And we were the ones getting stick. Oh, shut up. Stop being negative. Sterling will come good. Look what Arteta's done with Havertz. He's going to do that with Sterling. You'll all be putting a mud when in it. And I'm thinking, look, I hope I am. I really hope I am. at the moment, it ain't looking too good for it, really. And I must say, big up to Liverpool, because I thought their window was a disgrace as well, by the way, considering we're both going for a title ahead of Man City, getting Chiesa in. I mean, let's hope it don't, for Drifty's sake, it don't come back to bite them in the backside for only doing that.
Where is he, man?
Is
Is he just injured? Where is he, man? Is he all right?
He's injury prone.
All right,
Chiesa.
Chiesa, yeah. Is he all right, man?
Yeah, I mean, big up everyone, by the way.
Big up
He's just trying to get himself Prem ready. And the
Okay.
rivals, I know the rivals can laugh at it and stuff, and it is a little bit funny because obviously you think, right, you bought one player and then you don't even get to use him. But I reckon we took the chance based on the price. And if you look at the last 18 months, he hasn't missed that much football. I just think he's struggling to get used to the pace of the Premier League. He didn't have no preseason. And obviously you got to take your time with a player who has had some injury issues in the past. So I think once the new year starts, because a lot of people are forgetting that when you buy a new player, they don't always hit the ground running. Not everybody's going to be a Mo Salah where they're just going to come into the league and they're just going to play well straight away. It took Fabinho until November before he started playing well. Then he was the best DM in the league for 3-4 years. So like it can happen. Do you know what I mean? I'm not worried about Chiesa.
Can I just ask you, from a Liverpool point of view, I feel like you're in a really good position that you don't have to rush him in. Like when you look at the plethora of forwards that Liverpool have, like I'm seeing people say, told you he was going to be a flop. He hasn't flopped. He hasn't played, right? Sometimes you're right. People need time to integrate. But when you've got all those forwards that I mean, Gakpo started the season great. Diaz has, Salah has, Nunes is chipping in, Jota scores goals. There's no need to rush a player. And I think that's what fans don't get. You don't necessarily, every signing doesn't have to be one that you go, right, straight in the 11 from minute one, go and work wonders. I think sometimes we're really impatient as football fans with footballers and they are human beings, So I think he'll be absolutely fine. He's a good player.
Facts. Right. I mean, just on the Arsenal thing as well.
Yeah,
I know Dan obviously doesn't go into this category because Dan said it straight away, so he's not using hindsight. But I think a lot of Arsenal fans are using hindsight to be annoyed with their window. I don't think there's anything wrong with their window if you actually put logic into it. And the reason I know Dan ain't gonna like hearing this, but I think if you've got two forwards who get 200 grand a week plus, you can't buy a third one unless you move one of them on. People are acting like that Arsenal aren't ran properly. One thing I respect about Arsenal is they're ran properly. And Arsenal can't have Jesus on 200 plus, Havertz on 200 plus, and then go and give Osherman or someone else another 200 plus grand a week. It doesn't work like that. The only way they could buy a striker is if they moved on Jesus. Because Havertz weren't going to go anywhere. Obviously, they just bought him. And no one's buying Jesus. Who's going to buy a player who can't stay fit and doesn't score goals? Arsenal's actually in a dilemma, if I'm being honest with you. And Havertz is the creation of that dilemma, which, again, I'm sure Dan will agree with. He was supposed to be Moreno's signing, and then this summer they go and buy a striker. But because they couldn't play Havertz in the position he was supposed to, because he wasn't good enough, they found a position for him he is good enough in, but that's filled the void that they were going to buy someone else for later. So now what they've had to do is bring in Moreno, and now he's replacing what Havertz was supposed to be. So hindsight is very easy to say, we had a crap window. But you've got to think about it logically and take the emotion out of it. And I don't think it looked bad at the time. I don't think Moreno and Calafiori looked bad. Everybody wanted Calafiori. Everybody wanted Calafiori.
Everybody who?
Like all the big teams who needed defenders. Tottenham wanted him. Liverpool wanted him. Man United looked at him. You got Euro, but you still looked at Calafiori. Like,
thanks for calling us a big club. Appreciate that. We've made it.
Yeah, you know what it is, though, Drifty. What you're saying there, right? Which is what I agree with. I agree totally in what you're saying. I don't think we had a great window. Obviously, you thought it was okay. I will say this though: you make a good point about the players that are on big wages, because apparently we were bringing this new, fresh regime in that was going to get rid of the Aubameyangs, the Ozils, the Kolasinac's, the Mustafis, and now we're replacing those players with Zinchenko's and Jesus's and Thomas Partey's and Tomiyasu's that are now all on ridiculous wages, coming to the end of their contracts, and no one's going to want them. So all we're now doing is replacing the old crap with some of the new crap. We have now outgrown Zinchenko and Jesus. Whether that's a compliment to Arsenal, take it as you want. We have outgrown them massively. They are not players that should be starting for us anymore. And when we bought them, they weren't to win us a league, by the way. People think Jesus and Zinchenko were coming to Arsenal to win us a league. We found ourselves in a title race. We were going for the top 4 that season. And Jesus and Zinchenko were coming in to fight for top 4 with us because they couldn't get a first team or looking at Manchester City. So people now start to all of a sudden believe, well, why are they not so good? Because they weren't ever supposed to be for the title. So now all of a sudden we've gone from bringing on Smith Rowe and Reece Nelson and Eddie and Nketiah to bringing on Jesus and Sterling. And somehow Eddie, Nelson and Smith Rowe were better than Jesus and Sterling. What's happened, man? It's a joke, man. Honestly, it's crazy, but that's the way it is. And look, I think a lot of people think that it's all it for Arsenal, and I get what Sav is saying. We beat Chelsea and Liverpool, drop points to Villa and Brighton, pick up something at City, which everyone thinks they're going to. We're right back in it, right? That's how quickly football can change. But you look at it in terms of momentum and across the period of time and the form that we're in, I can understand why Sava feels this way, man, because it ain't looking good for us at all.
On the flip side, Chelsea, listen, first, you've not beaten them in 8 attempts, is it, or something like that, since 2018, which is crazy.
That's wild. That is
Yeah.
a wild.
Nah,
stat.
we beat. Did we not beat Arsenal in 21?
No, you haven't
Nah,
beaten them since.
Apparently
at
not
home.
Stamford Bridge, bro.
No, not
Oh
Stamford
no, yeah,
Bridge.
you're right. I think that was at the Emirates actually. That game. Yeah, you're probably right. To be fair, like it's going to be a
Sorry,
difficult
innit?
game, but probably our
Wasn't
best
Sarri
chance
the last
in
Chelsea
ages.
manager to beat Arsenal, which is mad. Look how long ago Sarri was.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, different world back then. Honestly, this is our best chance in ages. I've been saying it all week. Like when I saw Arsenal fail to get anything against Inter Milan, I thought we got a chance here. Because I'm not saying Inter Milan are obviously a very good side, but I was saying this. I've been waiting for Arsenal's spark to light all season. I just don't feel like it's coming. And I feel like Chelsea's the game that might get them up for it and might like set that off. But I actually think that it might take the whole international break and a whole change in what they've been doing this season. Because I think Arteta's gone too far away. I think he thought that he couldn't outscore Man City, so maybe he could out-defend them this season. I think it's just gone completely wrong. So I think this is Chelsea's best chance in a long time. But we're not exactly in lethal form ourselves. That's the only thing.
Is Palmer out then?
Nah. Last night, Nkunku and João Felix played like 80 and 90 minutes. So I just think that means Cole Palmer will be fit, to be honest with you.
I've heard he is fit.
Yeah, I think he's going to be okay.
I like what Chelsea are doing. I was I remember coming on shows like a year ago and being absolutely clattered for saying that I think that they will start to go on to a good path. I think the difference is that Chelsea fans have got a real, and I'm not saying that's wrong, it's really good. Chelsea fans have got a really high bar after where they've been for so many years with Abramovich.
Yeah.
I appreciate that the chairman has taken a couple of years of, you know, I mean, let's be fair, it's been a bit of a circus, but you can kind of see now when you look at that Chelsea lineup, you know, I think in their last game, there was 2 players in the 11 that were 26 and all of the others were like 24 and below. You can kind of see what they're doing. And I think the key thing for me is when people say, oh, you know, Chelsea this, Chelsea that. Look, do I think Chelsea should be winning a title? No, I don't. I don't think they're anywhere near ready to win a title at the moment. But I think the manager's done a really good job in terms of feel-good factor. Like even when you watch Chelsea now on the TV, I don't feel like I'm getting that. I mean, you'll be able to tell me as a Chelsea fan, I don't feel like I'm getting the same kind of disgruntled noises around the stadium. It feels like it's a lot better. It feels like the players are all playing for each other. They've got a lot of options. The key thing for me with Chelsea will be have a good year this year. Then what do they do in the summer, right? What do they do in the summer? Do they just go back to buying 150 million pound players, or do they keep this going? Do they nurture it through? And I suppose a lot of that depends on how patient the Chelsea fans are to get back to past glory. And trust me, as a Spurs fan, I know a lot about patience and not a lot about glory. So I say that with all due respect. But I think Chelsea have got some really good things going on. I really do. And I think the manager comes across really, really well. When I see him interviewed, he doesn't look scared to make big decisions. I think it should be, I can't tell Chelsea fans how to feel, but I think they're going on the right path.
Yeah. I think listen, I think Chelsea have got the firepower, man. Like they could overpower Arsenal on Sunday. Like genuinely, this could be one of them games where Arsenal could be blitzed. And it sounds crazy, but I just think the energy is lacking with Arsenal. And I think Chelsea have all that energy. They didn't use any of that against United, let's be honest. They were disappointing. But I feel like there's a feeling that if Chelsea click on Sunday, it could be a blitz. And I've gone for, funny enough, a 2-1 Chelsea win. But I just think for me, if they start off quick Chelsea, Arsenal could be done, bro. Like, that sounds scary because we normally associate Arsenal with one of the best defenses in the league. Compact, tight, difficult to break down. But
I hope you're right, Saeed. I really do, because obviously I'm in a title race with Arsenal. But I think Arsenal are going to show the same kind of grit they showed against Liverpool. Going into the Liverpool game, I was definitely cautious going into the game, but obviously quietly confident based on their situation. And look how well Arsenal played in that first 45 against Liverpool. I think they'll be doing the same against Chelsea. I think it's way too easy to run the narrative Chelsea are going to win the game because they've been slightly better and they've been in slightly better form. Like, Arsenal aren't just going to keep losing games. It doesn't happen. It really doesn't happen. It's what worries me about Villa at the weekend, because you don't just keep losing games and you're a good side. Eventually, you're going to win a game. And Arsenal, I think they've lost 3 games in the last 4, right? They're not just going to lose again. It doesn't. They're too good of a team to just lose again. A draw, possibly.
I don't think we'll get blitzed if we do lose. I can't remember the last time we got blitzed. This team doesn't get blitzed. It loses, but it don't get blitzed by 3 or 4. But we definitely can lose. Could lose 1-0. Could lose 2-1 very, very easily. I think this is a game that we could go into like that. But yeah, I can't remember the last time we lost like over 2 goals. I don't actually remember the last time. It's been like easily 2 or 3 years, I think.
But that's why I'm saying now this Chelsea team have got firepower, and they've got, like, I feel like this is now or never for Chelsea, for me, because if they now, let's say for example they lose to Arsenal, or it's a bit of a dead game, do Chelsea fans look at them and think, man, it's a bit? Do we look at it and say, you know what's a good point against the Arsenal team, or do you look at it as 2 points dropped? Because I would look at it as 2 points dropped for me, you know.
I think it depends on the performance side. Like, if we have a good game and you can see that there's positives to take from it, and we challenge a team that are there being talked about winning the league this season, and they're falling way below objectives, then I think that would be a good thing for Chelsea. But if we get rolled over and we don't turn up for another big game or something like that, or Maresca experiments in a game where he shouldn't really be doing that, then I think we have to have a chat and say, look, maybe we look good against the lower level teams in this division, but against the bigger teams, we've still got some learning to do, which I actually think would be fair, considering Maresca's only been in the job 3 months. So I think we've got to judge it off the back of the performance. We're obviously going in fresh-legged. We've been able to rotate. I mean, Arsenal have played the 11 against Inter Milan. Is probably not far off the 11 that will start against Chelsea. Whereas we're able to rest everyone every single week at the moment. Whether or not that's a good or a bad thing, I'm not sure, because I don't know whether the momentum's being killed. It's helping our injury list, but players want to play as many games as they can, especially with a 2-week break coming up. I think they probably want to play. So, look, I think it's early days to say it's now or never, but I do think if we can get a point here, it's a huge result for Chelsea in terms of where this team can go, because these are the sort of games that educate a young team like this.
Facts. I just hope there's no draw.
Just check 14th of May 2023. It was 14th of May 2023. Arsenal lost 3-0 to Brighton, so it's a long time ago since we lost by that. So I don't know if we'll get blitzed, but certainly not expecting to have a comfortable weekend because of the way we're playing, man. It's gonna be real, isn't it?
Yeah, but
sorry.
Yeah, I think a draw, Drifty, your webcam's gone blur. But do you think Savo?
That's my eyes.
Yeah, I was going to say, mate. But Savo, would you want to draw here? Do you want to? Because I think for me, I think a win either way is a nice ending to the Premier League, weekend. I think a draw is boring, isn't it?
I mean, Arsenal are our North London rivals, and Chelsea are a team that just Chelsea and Spurs fans just don't get on. Asking me to pick who I'd want is terrible. Look,
if you win and Arsenal lose, you're ahead of them, aren't you?
Yeah, we are, but I think that for me, I don't do that whole kind of short termism. We're above you, you're above us, we're above. I'm a you know me side. I'm more of a let's look at the bigger picture in all this. Look, I think it's going to be close. I know that's a real, kind of sitting on the fence, splinters in my arse kind of answer, but I don't see either team blowing the other one away. I don't think Arsenal have got loads of goals in them. Chelsea have, but Chelsea at the back every now and then. Sanchez seems to like giving away penalties from what I've seen so far this season. He makes a couple of rash decisions. I think it'll be a really good game. And I've now put the mockers on it for a 0-0. But look, it's interesting because if Arsenal don't win that, there are going to be real big questions asked. And that's purely because of where Arsenal have positioned themselves the last 2 years. You can't go from being City's closest challengers to being 10 points off the top after 11 games in the league. So I think the Arsenal fans will have some uncomfortable conversations in their own fan base. For Chelsea, if Chelsea win, what a really good start to the season it's been for them under a new manager. Because a week before the season, I remember everyone saying, oh my God, they've got 40 to 50 players. This manager, what are they doing? Blah, blah, blah. This manager's never managed. And he seems to have calmed the storm. So, a draw sounds about right, but I think Chelsea might nick it. But I also make Drifty right. Arsenal are a good team. Do you keep losing? And I'm sure we'll talk about City later, but do you just keep losing? I'm not sure they do. So maybe there you go, 0-0. Stick all your mortgages on a 0-0 draw this weekend.
I'll take a 0-0, to be honest.
And Chelsea, Cole Palmer, I mean, listen, I'm not calling him a flat track bully, but do you reckon Cole can he step up? Is this the game? He did score against Arsenal last year, didn't he, though, when he chipped Raya? So he did play against this, but I think people are maybe waiting for that.
He scored a penalty. That was Mudryk. He scored a penalty.
Yeah,
was it? Yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah, from a weird cross thing.
He's learning his craft side. I think a lot of people are forgetting that he's still young. You have to learn how to become the big game player. Sometimes it can just click. But we're not going to doubt Cole Palmer because he hasn't scored in a few of the big games. He is an exceptional talent. I think people are just so quick to go, well, look, he's not good at that, is he? So therefore, he's not as good as you think he is. Imagine doubting Cole Palmer. I'd give anything to have Cole Palmer in the 10 for Liverpool. Seriously, how can we doubt this kid? This kid is special. He will eventually get it right. I don't think Salah scored in the first 3 or 4 games against Man United when he first came Liverpool, and there was this whole rhetoric around it. And now he's got the best record against you out of anyone. Well. So, you know what I mean? Let's not doubt the guy because he's had 1 year at Chelsea where he hasn't scored many goals against the big teams. Come on.
But you know what, Drifty? This is what football fans do, isn't it? I remember I was in somebody's chat the other week. And I don't often go in chats. And someone said, Sava, do you think Cole Palmer's world class? I said, no, I don't think he's world class. I think he's a youngster that's had one very good year. Looks like he's going to follow that up with another good year. And let him have 3 or 4 years of doing this every year. Then we can start having those conversations. What fans want to do is put him on a pedestal here. Then the moment it doesn't, he's had a big game today and not scored, it's, there you go. See, he's not very good. And it's like, well, hang on. There's a lot of factors to, did he score against a top team? Did his team play well? Was he put in positions to do that? And we hear this about Erling Haaland. Whenever people want to, you go, Haaland scored 40 this season. Yeah, but only 4 against the top 6. He scored 40 goals this season. What are we, you know what I mean? What are we doing here? Why are we trying to build people up just to knock them off that same perch the very next game? So I think Palmer's a wonderful talent. He's all these kids that are coming through at City, right? They're wonderful talents. He's clearly got an eye for goal. He's got loads of assists. He is Chelsea's main man, in my opinion. And if he keeps going like this, it's only good for him and for England. So people just need to get off his back a little bit and let the boy play some football.
Yeah, I hear you on that, Sava. I think so much of this now is put on the GA as well. You can turn up in a game and have an effect on the game and be instrumental into how a team's playing its football, but not be the man that's putting up goals and assists. Xavi and Iniesta ran games for fun. You go and look at their numbers; they're not great. but they ran games. They kept their team in games. They dominated games. And Cole Palmer's shown it at times that, look, he's had some quiet games in the bigger games. Like Drifty said, I'm sure he'll overcome that. But in other games against bigger teams, he's got on the ball deeper and tried to make stuff happen and try and change up his game a little bit, because he's getting double marked in games. He is the main focus for defensive setup and how they're going to mark him. Look at Curtis Jones against Liverpool. I mean, he was literally deployed in a role to take Palmer out of the game pretty much, and Maresca's been working on that since to try and adapt where he plays. But I think it all comes from literally aliens like Erling Haaland, like Ronaldo and Messi, that have been so consistent.
And Salah.
Do you know what I mean? They've just been able to.
Because apparently I don't give Salah enough credit according to Sam.
Go back away from them and go back to the players that have been phenomenal players in history. They're not putting up unbelievable numbers to the extent that it's every single big game they play in and every game they play in. I think of players like Mesut Ozil at Arsenal. I think of players like Henry. They're putting up fantastic numbers, but it wasn't to the level of like Haaland putting up stupid amount of goals. Like Messi scored 90 goals in a calendar year. Our vision's been blurred by like absolute phenomenal talents. Like you can
when people talk about Ronaldinho, does anyone ever mention GA?
Goals and assists? Nah.
No one ever mentions it. When you talk about Luka Modric, as you said, Xavi, Iniesta, Pirlo,
Zidane,
no one talks about GA. They're just world-class footballers, right? You just let them get on with it.
Individual, beautifully talented players.
You gotta get used to this though, Dan, because I've had this for the last 3 years with Saka. So just get used to it and enjoy it, and ignore the haters, man. They're all jealous. They all want your player. They'd all love him. Everybody would love Saka in this league.
Now,
everybody would love Palmer in this league.
Drifty, they want him. They come out straight and say it. Do you know what I mean? Like we can all see the talent that's there. Let's not deny it. Do you know what I mean?
Everybody
I'd
wants
take Palmer in the absolute heartbeat.
Yeah. Let's do a quick combined 11. And we're not going to take too long on this one. In net is definitely not your guy there.
No, I don't know, son. Come on, man. Like, right? No, I'm joking.
Nah, come on, man.
Do you know what, Saeed? On the goalkeeper situation,
because Sanchez will get plenty of assists.
On the goalkeeper situation, I'm hoping that Chelsea don't come to Liverpool with a good offer for Kelleher in the summer, because I reckon we'd sell him.
Nah, I don't think we go for him. I think he's a good keeper. I think he's way above Sanchez, but I don't think we go for him.
Chelsea go for about 15 goalkeepers you've got, and you're now done, something like that.
Well, we've signed Jorgensen obviously in the summer, and a guy called Penders as well. So I think we've done best part of 50 million on keepers this summer.
Chelsea buying a lot of footballers. That's unheard of, isn't it? We've got Fraser Forster playing for us in Europe. If anyone wants to take him off our hands.
He looked stiff yesterday, Sava, didn't he? Getting down to that one that went in.
I thought it was a throwback game when I saw Forster in goal. I was like, this cannot be 2024. What is going on?
It's like having a wardrobe in goal, isn't it? I mean, it's just
I think Tottenham get something out of that game without him in goal yesterday. If I'm being honest, he was terrible.
But are you kidding? But then he saved a lot of saves, though.
No, but he saved the one straight at him, man.
Nah, come on, man. He did a lot of saves.
Opened up yesterday, man. I watched that game.
In that needs to be absolutely cooked, man. If anyone,
that might be game of the season, by the way.
Let's not talk.
That was such a good game.
Let's not talk about Spurs.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Let's go with fullbacks. Fullbacks. So left back or right back? What are we saying?
Oh, left back's Cucurella.
Timber goes left back, I think.
Oh, I don't know. I think Cucurella.
Timber's been unreal, but I suppose you could put Timber and Cucurella in fullbacks, unless you put Rich James in. But James has played like 2 games, has he?
Yeah, true. I think on this season, James ain't getting in it.
We're going on form. And
Dusko's been awful, man. So Timber and Cucurella, that's cool.
Could put Rich James centre back as well, right back, and then put Thingy there. But yeah, centre backs. I'm gonna go with Levi Colwill and Saliba.
I'll be honest with you. No disrespect, Dan, but the Chelsea boys don't get in at centre back.
They do.
I can't see how.
No. It's Saliba and Gabriel.
Yeah. No, but Levi's been good, man.
No, it's Saliba and Gabriel. Come on, bro.
Levi's had a good season, but he's had some mistakes. I just think Saliba and Gabriel are probably still above, even on form. I think they're probably
or Gabriel and.
I don't.
No, it's the Arsenal pair, Saeed. It's the Arsenal pair. Come on, we've got to be honest.
I don't know, man. I can't lie to you. I think for me,
Ain't for Fana. He's been not great, and
No.
Colwell's definitely improved. I hear what Said's saying, but I know we've been bad. But if we ain't getting Gabriel and
Who's
Saliba
conceded
in
less
here,
goals?
like,
Oh,
It's
dunno,
one
actually. I
that
think it's
Chelsea have
level, innit?
conceded one more than Arsenal. I get the feeling this team's going to be lopsided. I think it's going to be very heavily Arsenal at the back and very heavily Chelsea.
Okay.
the front.
Can we
I
just,
just get
we
the
just
feeling.
agree that Cole Palmer's there anyway? We just agree Cole Palmer is in that cam role. There's no point.
Did that
I
say?
think
Did
for
that
me-
say Ashley Cole?
Yeah.
I think for me, you know who I put in midfield? Caicedo and Partey.
Nah, Lavia.
I think Lavia's had a really good
Lavia's
start.
No.
to the season. I think.
I agree with
Caicedo
Said. I
and
think it's
Partey.
Caicedo.
Caicedo's been extra.
Caicedo, man. Caicedo and
Yeah.
Party are the two, innit?
Yeah,
Lavia's been
Caicedo's
quality.
quality.
He's played a
Lavia.
couple of years.
Lavia's
Party's
been
been our
quality.
best outfield player this season.
Yeah,
Partey's
that-
been real,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, but
I agree, I agree.
Lavia has been a level above Party this season, Dan.
You think so?
How many games has he
been
played?
so
Party's
good.
played every single game.
Yeah, but it don't mean he's been good in every game. He's getting slated.
No, he
at the
has.
end of the
Trust me.
season.
Party's the only one I can rely on this season.
Yeah,
He's the
but
only
beginning of the
midfielder we've had.
season, We were having chats and
Saka
people
goes on
saying
the
Party
right.
don't
No
look up
point
to it.
even debating that.
Yeah, at the end of the season, last season, Party was, like, let's be real, Party was nowhere to be seen, was he? But this season, Party has definitely been our best outfield player. I rate Lavia. He's actually one of my favourite Chelsea players, but I haven't seen him play. How many games has he played for Chelsea now?
5
in the
this
10.
season.
Five, six.
I think
played
this is
half the
fair, you
game.
know.
So he's only played half the games, man. So I've got to give it to Party. But I think
I've
Lavia
kinda-
across the season would be probably up there.
I've kind of just made this up because I just feel
They've done it
me-
for us.
Yeah. I think for me, there's no point agree to disagree here, man, guys, because why? It's
I think you're right. I think that is it. I would. That's what I would go with.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
put Havertz or Martinelli or Trossard in it. So yeah,
No,
I can't disagree with that,
no.
man.
Reece James, potential one maybe instead
Nah,
of.
nah.
on form.
No, but you know what?
Reece
You
not
could
going on
put
form
Timber
right now.
left back and then put Reece James at right back, but he hasn't played enough games. So.
It's not. That's not fair on Cucurella. If we're doing
Why
it
is
on
Leto
form-
in there? Because he's better than Trossard, better than Martinelli, bro. Like, allow it.
I'm
If
not,
you go
I'm
on
not
this-
saying that's
if
a
you go on
bad
this
attack.
season, yeah.
That's not a bad attack at all. But when you think about between these two teams, they've spent 1.6 billion in
Yeah,
the
it's
last 3
embarrassing.
years.
Yeah.
That is a weird. I mean, Saka's free. He came through the youth system.
It's
That is
like
a really weird attack, isn't it?
it's like this is a really good team, but not a great. Do you know what I mean? It's like this is a team without superstars, if you know what I mean. This looks like a really solid, hard-working team that would rely massively on Cole Palmer to to do all of the creation. It's a good team.
No.
It's a good team.
I
but-
think defensively, that team is brilliant. Like they would not concede many goals. This team, Partey and Caicedo protecting
Yeah,
the back four. They barely let in any goals. Like
Yeah.
they barely let. But obviously, yeah, it'll be Palmer and Saka. Actually, no, and Neto. They'd have a lot of creation. Actually,
I don't
This
think
team
it's
ain't
bad
bad.
as well. I don't think
Chelsea
it's
have a
bad.
better
Man.
11.
I don't think it's bad, if I'm honest.
No, it
It's-
is a good team
it's a good-
actually.
it's a
Yeah.
good
I think
team.
Jackson's the only one
Good
that's
team.
letting it down a little bit. He's not crap,
Yeah.
but you look at that, you need someone better than Jackson up front.
But isn't
Yeah.
that the worry then between Chelsea and Arsenal? The best striker that anyone can come up with is Nicholas Jackson,
Yep.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that for me is the difference between Liverpool, City, and the others.
But
Right?
then
Is
I will
those
say though
four.
that like on form is always a shit one, isn't it? Because like players going in and out of form the whole time. If you
Yeah.
did it overall, then you're taking Odegaard, you're taking Declan Rice.
Oh,
I mean, there's other players. So
Sure.
it's
Sure.
hard to when you look at it on form. Sometimes it looks a bit ski whiff, and that's why we laughed. I think we did one the other day, which was United and Chelsea, and it was
Yeah.
like we were all laughing at how bad it was, like because it was all over the place. But if you looked at the Man United and the Chelsea sides, you'd be like, oh, he's injured, or he's not playing well, or he's out of form at the moment. That's why combined 11s are mad, really. But on
I
form,
think the Odegaard Palmer one would cause a lot of arguments, Poch, you know. I think
yeah,
that
no,
would
I've
be the
already
biggest argument.
admitted on the terrace that I would take Palmer over Odegaard. I already admitted that because he's got more GA. Odegaard, in terms of his technical ability, I ain't doubting him. I think he's unreal, and you could probably play both of them. But for me, I feel like Palmer is just got to that. He's got to that elite stage at the moment where he's just
He's on it.
goals and assists, man. So
Mm.
he's got
Yeah,
everything.
you're right. I'd put Partey or Caicedo as a sitter and have Odegaard and Palmer. So I'd flip the three in midfield.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
Okay. Oh, it's just a quick little mess about anyway,
Yeah.
man.
No, Odegaard ain't playing though, so you can't put him.
Yeah, exactly. Lavia over Partey. Partey plays right back. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Guys, there's 983 people watching us right now. We're only on 297 likes. Let's get that up to 500 likes ASAP, people. So if you're watching right now, down below, thumbs up button. Lets you know if you're enjoying the show or not. Let's move on to Liverpool. They're top of the league. Strong position. We'll kind of merge Liverpool and then Man City kind of in one, but I want to focus on Liverpool since we got you here, Drifty. But I can't lie, bro. I'm starting to get worried about you lot, man. And it's really concerning me, man. At the start, you know when you just kind of like, you're looking at something, you're like, nah, man, they ain't no threat. And then you start to see, maybe they are a threat. Maybe they got something about them. That's how Liverpool are. Like now, bro, this idea they ain't played anyone, bro. They're scoring goals, their defending is good, and like things are aligning for you, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing Tuchel links, which I don't believe can happen in January. I'll be gobsmacked if you got Tuchel in January.
I think it could, you know. I think it could, you know.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think it could. I don't think Real Madrid are so stacked in midfield that I don't think they would 100% go, no, we can't afford to lose him. I actually think that with Camavinga, with the Bellingham, obviously Modric's still there. They've obviously got Valverde. Bro, I think they could get him.
I mean, if I'm being honest, people might think I'm crazy for saying this. I'm not really sold on Tchouaméni. Like, so if it happens, it happens, and I'll see how it goes. I'm not overly excited by Tchouaméni. I don't think he's a crap player by any stretch, but I just don't quite know about his ability to be the best player we thought he was. He looked like he might have been, say, like a year or two ago. I could be wrong, but I would much rather have someone like Varela or Zubimendi, who I think will play in the way that we play and would suit the way we play. Tchouaméni's not press resistant, and then the way we play, we can't have players in midfield that will lose the ball if they're pressed.
No.
So. Who's Zubimendi? No, but I mean, I don't. You never know, innit? You never know. He's apparently he regrets it. I think City or Liverpool will probably. I think he'll go City or Liverpool Zubimendi by this time next year. But you know, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're cruising along nicely, Said. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you we're going to win the league. But at the beginning of the season, when I was asked who I think, if you push me to who's going to win the league, I said Liverpool because I did believe we were good enough. You know. Yeah, and I got looked at very strangely because people don't want to hear what they don't think is popular belief. But I did believe we could win the league. A lot of people was looking at us like we're some scrubs. We only fell away with 5 games to go. And we had a bad injury hit season last year. And we had the emotion of Klopp leaving and the pressure of that. And I looked at the squad and I thought, if Slot keeps this moving the way, is it not Ranieri? Yeah, it is Ranieri. Isn't it? Am I going mad? It is Ranieri, isn't it? Who took over from Leicester?
Yeah.
Why did I forget his name? Yeah. Do you remember when Ranieri took over at Leicester and he made sure that he kept things ticking in the same way? And then Leicester won the league because smart managers know what is working and they just tweak things. Slot plays a very similar style to Klopp, which is why we hired him. So I knew he would kind of keep things a little bit similar. I knew our forwards had goals in them. Everybody doubted our forwards last season because of the fall-off. But I just found it a bit weird that you're going to look at players like Jota and Salah and Diaz and go, Liverpool can't score goals. What? Are you literally just thinking about recency bias? Did you actually know how good these players actually are?
Yeah.
And I knew players like Gravenberch would be able to come into their own because they're good players. So it's not a surprise to me, but I'm not going to get carried away and sit here and tell, of course, we're definitely going to win the league. But we're chugging along nicely. And yeah, it's if we can get 1 or 2 signings in January to bolster the squad a little bit, and we can keep our main players fit, then you never know. You never know.
Liverpool do remind me a little bit of how we were in 22-23, where we would just keep winning. And it's like, they ain't played anyone yet. Then they started to win again. They still ain't played anyone yet. Well, now they have played people. They've actually done well in the Champions League as well, which people are forgetting about. And I just feel with Liverpool, the only thing that makes me feel they won't win the league is because I saw them against us and I wasn't like blown away. I wasn't like, wow, they're going to win the title. I thought they could have had us, man, because we had a lot of players out. And I didn't look at the team and think, yeah, that's a title winning side. I could be wrong. Trust me, I could be wrong. I think Arne Slot deserves a hell of a lot of praise. I think he's come in, and the biggest compliment I keep giving him is that I haven't seen anything that has been left behind from Klopp yet. I haven't looked for, they miss Klopp. My God, they miss Klopp. And mate, if he wins the league and gets as many titles as Jurgen Klopp, wow, Liverpool fans might be like, oh, what do we do? We'll celebrate the league title, but maybe Klopp was an all right manager and not a great one. We'll see.
I never understood.
No, do you know what? Yeah, a lot of people are doing a comparison between Shankly and Paisley, and I know obviously it's way too soon because they're two of our greatest ever managers, so it's a bit too soon to make the comparison. But I don't think people are doing it based on how good they think they are. I think they're doing it based on Shankly laid the foundations, and then Paisley just took it to that next level, and Klopp laid the foundations, and now hopefully Slot can take it to the next level. So we'll see. We'll see.
Do you know
I'm
what? I never understood, Drifty. Do you know what I never understood? Like in the summer, again, I was someone who I've said I don't think Liverpool will win the league. That's just my opinion. But in the summer, I never understood where everyone was going, oh, they bought in Slot. Liverpool are going to fall away. Like people were talking about it like, do you know what? I'm not sure Liverpool will get top 4. And I'm like, have you seen their squad? Like their squad dictates that no matter who the manager is, you're going to have a chance. But Slot is a very, very good tactician. And I'll tell you what, he's really likable as well. Now,
he is. That's the annoying thing about it. He's likable.
He is likable. Now, we might see a bit different when he gets deeper into a title race and the pressure's on and it's the important knockout games. Look, I think Liverpool are a really, really good football team. All of this, who have they played yet? I mean, they've just battered Leverkusen 4-0. The week before was it Leipzig you beat? They've beaten, teams in the Premier League now. I think they're a really good team. I don't think they're going to win it, but I do think Liverpool are always there or thereabouts in all 4 competitions. I think you're going to have another really good season. I think Curtis Jones, hats off. I think he's such a good footballer. We talk about bringing in Chouameni, and we've got to bring in this midfielder. Players like Curtis Jones, I'm not saying he's them, but sometimes you need players like that in your squad. Man United had it for years with a Darren Fletcher. People go, oh, he's rubbish. He's rubbish. Ferguson kept him around at Man United for years, trusted him in big games for a reason, because it's not always about who the fans want as a big, big name. It's about who gets it, who gets the system, who works hard, who complements. So I think Liverpool have got something really good going on there. And I'm probably very different to everyone. I understand why he didn't go and buy loads of players. I think that he's recognized, you know what, I've got a good squad. Let me have a year. Let me see what I need to do before I start going, right, I'm going to get rid of all the midfield and bring in a new midfield. Or there's no need to do that. And it's only the fans that want that, right? It's football fans that constantly want, we need 5 new signings and we need 4 world-class players. I think Liverpool are a good team, good manager. Biggest issue is going to be what happens at the end of the season with the Salahs, with the Van Dijks, with the Alexander-Arnolds. That's going to show his management and Liverpool as a club. How do you navigate if I'm not saying they're all going to go, but how do you navigate losing any of those 3? So good team. Good team.
And the thing is as well that I think people are forgetting, it's not like Crimea River or anything like that, but we have got injuries as well. Do you know what I mean? Like we've got our goalkeeper out who's been out for weeks. Jota's our best striker. He's been out for weeks. A lot of people are sleeping on Elliott. He was one of our top 5 performers last season. He's a brilliant young player. And I think he'd be able to play in the number 10 role way better than Szoboszlai has been from a creative point of view, which might make us even better going forward. He's been out for pretty much the majority of the season. So we have had some injuries as well. We've just coped with it well. Do you get what I mean? We like, I mean, everybody here can say, thankfully, we've got Kelleher. If anybody here lost their first goalkeeper for 2-3 months, everybody here would have their team will probably be in trouble if their first goalkeeper was out for 3 months.
I said Fraser Forster.
By the way, do you reckon I was right to say that could finish above Liverpool at summer when you looked at where United was spending money and you lot weren't spending money and United were meant to be in their 3rd year?
Nah, Said, I can't lie. That was a mad call, bro. That was a mad call.
Was it a mad call?
Yeah, it was, bro.
It was, bro. Do you know?
What
Do you
did
know
he
what
say?
your problem
Is that because Liverpool are now challenged for the league title, or
Nah,
just in
Nah, it's
general?
because
No, it shows who
Liverpool
underperformed,
always had
man.
quality players, man. Like, let's just be real about this. When I looked at Liverpool, I expected them to be in and around Manchester City and Arsenal for the title. I never had them winning it. I didn't have them winning it like Drifty, but I look at their players and I think that in any World 11, they could like realistically put forward 3, maybe 4 players that would walk into everyone's 11 in the world. Salah, you look at Van Dijk, you look at Alisson, you look at Trent, and they've already proven that they can score goals. So I always had Liverpool in and around where they are. I didn't think they'd be like top by like 7 points in front of us or wherever it is, but now I will say that. But I certainly had them up there. I never had them like struggling in 4th or 5th. Like some people had them like 6th or 7th. It's like, what the hell, man? And like Man United, let's just be real, Said. I never looked at Ten Hag and United and thought, yeah, they can get ahead of Liverpool. Nah, not for me.
I think it was lazy, Potts, when people were saying that we'd finish 5th and 6th and 7th because they were just looking at Wenger and
that's wild,
Fergie
that's wild.
leaving. That's
I
all they
said
were doing. They're looking at
4th.
Fergie leaving and they were looking at Wenger leaving. And it was just literally the laziest comparison of a legend of a manager going and then what happened to the clubs for the next few years afterwards. Liverpool didn't lose Klopp in a bad way.
Why? Your players weren't aging towards, like, we had Rio aging, Vidic was aging, Evra was aging, Wayne Rooney was becoming more of a 10. Like we Cleverly was in midfield, Marouane Fellaini. We didn't sign anyone that summer. It was similar in that aspect, but your players still, you got a lot of players in their prime still, man. Like,
yeah, but you know what else they did sign as well? Like with their manager, where United went for Moyes and all the pressure was on him to do well at a big job, and then Arsenal obviously went through Unai Emery. There was a lot of pressure on a good manager coming in. They went like away from what everyone sort of predicted they'd do and went for a manager that no one really knew. No one knew what to expect. Any sort of positive football or implementations or growth in the squad would have been like, okay, yeah, no one knows this manager. It's okay. The fact that he's top of the league now, he's exceeding expectations. So I think they're really smart in who they recruited to be their manager as well. I think it sort of removed the pressure.
The funny thing is, though, bro, even though us as fans didn't really know that much about him, Man United and Tottenham actually wanted him when they were looking for managers.
Like in football circles, he's known about, isn't he? He's winning leagues. Like, of course, people
Drifty, don't rub it in. I really wanted Slot. I still want Slot. I really wanted Slot.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
Really wanted Slot.
Also, just to touch on it, I think it shows Jurgen Klopp wasn't getting the best out of this side in his last couple of seasons as Liverpool boss as well. I don't think he was.
You can't say that though, because then
I think it's a combination of a few things. I think Klopp knew he was running out of steam and then finally admitted it to himself, and then that's why he's ended up going. And the first year when we had the entire midfield rebuild, some people are like, oh, how did you let that happen? But we almost won the quadruple the year before that. We were 2 games away from winning everything. Nobody saw Henderson, Fabinho. No one saw the drop-off in those players happening that quickly. So nobody can blame Klopp for why we had that season we finished 5th. That was the most out of nowhere, how did that happen scenario in the world. Do you know what I mean? So it's easy to blame Klopp.
Mate, don't say that. That's looking like what we're gonna do. Don't say that.
you got to be careful with Saka and Rice, you know, Potts. You are running those 2 into the ground. Seriously, you are actually running them into the ground.
Facts, but I'm trying to shout it out as loud as I can. No one's listening, bro.
Can I just say on this whole thing, I think it's really important. And if I can kind of use this as a segue to go into the Man City thing side, if that's okay.
I thought you were going to say Spurs.
No. Listen, I spent my whole life on my channel.
Can I use it as a segue to go into Spurs?
No, I spend my whole life on my channel critiquing my football club. I don't need to come here and do it anymore, mate.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't want to talk about one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a Tottenham side last night. It was utterly shambolic. Anyway, moving on from that. Look, I think what's really important is, and I think Drifty said it there, you know, like he's not going to get carried away. I think what fans tend to do is, I think we always forget that it's like the month we're in. Like we're forgetting it's the beginning of November. Nothing's signed, sealed, and delivered. And Man City have got to be the biggest example of this year in, year out. I come on the side and said this last year. I said it on the Big Six. I said it on whatever, all these big channels, and everyone laughed at me. I got so much abuse in the chat. Everyone mocks Man City every time they have a couple of difficult games. We do it all the time. Is this the end? Are their players getting older? Pep's forgotten what to do. Pep's teams are shit at the back. They can't do this. They can't do that. This player's finished. Every year this happens. And every year, Man City find a way. It might not be now in November, right? But Man City will be in touch come January. And in January, it's almost, I always use this, it's almost like they sit down in January after their New Year's Eve
Yeah, I know
party.
what you mean.
Go, right, guys, should we not lose for the next 20? And fans forget that. And all I've seen this week is Man City are dusty, Man City are finished, Man City this. I think everyone needs to calm down a little bit. These top players don't suddenly in 3 games turn into a team that have forgotten how to win titles and win trophies. They've had a really shit week. They've had a really shit week. And it's funny to watch because they're now feeling, imagine being a Spurs fan, they're now feeling what it's like for the rest of us when we lose games badly. But this is what, and I can't believe I'm going to bring this up. Noel Gallagher was actually on TNT Sports and they said to him, what happens now? And he said, Pep likes solving problems, right? And he will, he will. He will go away. He will find the formula and Man City will be, I think they'll still win it. They will be there or thereabouts come January, and then they will kick on, and everyone will go, oh, I can't believe they've done it again. Well, this is what they do every year.
It's so obvious, isn't it? It's
but
so
the
obvious,
thing is, Dan, everyone, like, do you know what? Just if I can just share a story quickly for 1 minute, if that's all right, Saeed.
Yeah,
I do a show on a Monday night called Debate Sava, right? Which is a bit narcissistic and arrogant, but never mind. And normally it's Spurs fans that come on and tell me, oh, you don't like Ange and he's brilliant and all this stuff. Anyway, this Man City fan came on, right? And he's going to me, Sav, I'm going to admit it. So many things I despise about Pep. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, sorry, despise. Mate, I've been telling everyone for 3 years we've got a shit back four. This midfield he's put together. We've had a terrible transfer window. And I'm like, dude, you've lost 1 Premier League game in 33. 1 Premier League game in 33. And this is how the Man City fans are talking.
Yeah, they're spoiled, man.
I just don't think we learn from year to year. So look, one of these years I'm going to be wrong with it. I've said this before. One of these years I'm going to be wrong. I still don't think it's this year. I still don't because everyone's telling me they're playing crap. They're 2 points off the top and 4 points. Is it 4 points above Nottingham Forest who won't be there? So for me, I just think everyone needs to calm down a bit. Let's have this conversation in February and see where Arsenal, City and Liverpool all are. I expect it to be them 3 again. And then let's have the conversation because this time last year, just to let you know, Tottenham Hotspur were top of the league and our fans were planning a victory parade down North London. Right?
Remember me and you had a debate, Sava?
I remember me and you having a debate.
Yeah.
Thank you for, is that an apology? No, Jay.
No. Yeah, more than you can believe.
We're going to win it. Sava, just enjoy it. And I was like, guys, we're not winning a league. Then we finished like 25 points off it. So look, I think everyone just take a breather, relax. Some of us are old, we're ugly, we've seen it all before. Let it pan out and let's just see what happens. So look, that's my 2 pence on the title race.
You know what, Sava? Even though you're absolutely bang on the money with everything you said, City do look a little different this time round. It does seem a little bit different. Do you know what I mean? Like I think De Bruyne looks like the age is difficult now to get over the injuries. Rodri being out. Bernardo seems to be coasting way more than he used to. Bernardo used to always pop up every couple of games and just remind you how good he was.
Yeah,
it's been a while since Bernardo's popped up and done anything. It just seems a little bit different.
I hear you.
Think it's
but in all of that, it's still 1 Premier League defeat in 33.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. If they lose the next 2 and they've got their next 2 are Brighton and then they play Tottenham at the Etihad. If they lose both of those, I'm going to turn around and go, oh, but 1 defeat in 33 and everyone's like, City are different. City's not the same.
I do think they're potentially at the stage though where they've got to get the best out of the players that they're getting in the age now because they've only got 6 players that are under 30, by the way. think
Sure,
it's 6
sure.
out of their squad. So I do think that they are looking at it potentially and thinking, have we planned well? Maybe they have planned well. The players they bought in aren't that good, because I'm not sure about this Doku. If I'm honest with you, I'm not sure about some of these players like that. But for me, yeah, Drifty's right. It does look a little bit different, but I have kind of seen people talk about this before. I remember the year we went for the league and everyone said, oh my God, no Sterling, Jesus or Zinchenko. How are they going to replace them? How are they going to replace Mahrez and Gundogan? And they won everything. They went and won a treble, and then they went and won the league. So for me, I'm with Sava a bit here. I still see them winning the league. I'd love to say they're not going to. I don't want them to win it, but I do think they're going to. I do think they're going to, man. I really do.
You know
I'd love
what's
to see
weird, Poch,
anyone win it other than them, apart from you, Dan, and also Chelsea. So I'm kind of like, go on, Liverpool, go on, go and win the league.
You know, I think that's the thing I'm enjoying at the moment, and I just pray and pray that we stay there. And it's probably what's annoying Potts more than anything is, if this is the year to take advantage of City's fall off, I'm just glad we're in the conversation right now. Do you get what I mean? Like that's what it's all about. And if we can just keep the pace and just, you know what I mean?
It might be the battle of the transfer window, you know. It might be the battle of the
I think it will be, say. January's massive for all 3 clubs. Arsenal must, Liverpool must, and City are now going to have to must because Rodri's out. And they might need a backup striker as well on top of that. So for me, I think January is going to be massive. But listen, I've got to shoot. But before I do, if Slot wins this before Arteta, I'll tell you what, horrendous pressure.
Nah, big up Dan, man. Love for coming on, bro.
Love, boys. Great to be with you.
Big up, bro.
Take it easy, all right?
Big up, man.
Bit, man.
Big up to you.
Sweet,
No, but generally, if Slot wins it this first year, like nobody can say about process, you know, man. All this idea of process, this, that, the other, bro.
I think it depends where the team's at, though, Si. Like, he's
come on, bro.
Liverpool team.
If Klopp couldn't do it,
if he'd walked into United and won it, then I'd probably agree with your statement. If he'd walked into Chelsea and done it,
but then where did you predict?
I'd agree with it. But he's inherited Salah, Van Dijk, Trent, Alisson. Like, he's got world-class players.
It's fine.
Gravenberch is looking like one of the best centre mid.
Yeah, but Gravenberch was an unknown quantity though last year.
McAllister's a World Cup winner. He's got Diaz scoring, who Klopp couldn't get a tune out of. Like, he's got a great squad. And like Drifty was saying,
so you're saying that
as well.
He's... I don't. For me, it's like nobody expected this, though, man.
Do you know what it's like? It's like when Chelsea used to sack managers, like manager after manager after manager, and then we keep winning trophies because the DNA and the squad was there, and the ability and the players and the mindset was all there. It just needed a refresh, and that's what I think Liverpool have done here. They've brought in a really good manager, but they've kept a very similar DNA with a few tweaks, like Drifty said. The best managers do that. I ultimately think this isn't. Don't get me wrong, it is a process. And I think actually the process doesn't start this season. I actually believe it starts next season when we see the departure of 1 or 2 world-class players, right? And I think that's when we're actually going to see what Slot is about in terms of a rebuild and a process. But right now, he hasn't had too much to do. He's actually just got a slower tempo, slightly better control, and moved a couple of players into slightly different areas of the pitch. He's just tweaked a couple of things with an already built squad. Klopp left Liverpool in a very good place. I think he'd sort of exhausted himself and exhausted the training methods and that sort of thing, and a little refresh just bucked him back up.
But also, you've got to remember last year, like players like Ryan Gravenberch were in their first season. And I know that football fans want everything immediately, but you know, he's now been there a year. He's settled. The new manager knows him well. It helps their fellow countrymen. And listen, I think everyone should have known Ryan Gravenberch was a very good footballer. Again, coming to a new league. By the way, it wasn't like Ryan Gravenberch came into Liverpool when they still had Fabinho and Wijnaldum, and they said, right, play with these two. He came into a whole new Liverpool midfield all in the space of 1 week. Right, like it was like, right, this season, this is our new midfield. He's done a really good job, Slot. I think what we've got to be careful of, if Liverpool fall away or have a bad spell, everyone's going to do this whole flip-flopping kind of, oh my God, see, he's actually shit because he's lost it. Give him time. And I completely agree with Dan that it's going to be what happens next year when they start saying, right, all right, you're doing well with someone else's squad. How you doing? But Alisson's already the long-term successor to Alisson is there, and they bought a really good goalkeeper in Mamadashvili. You know, let's see then if Trent goes, will you bring that right back? How are you replacing
Are you
Mo
then?
Salah,
Yeah. True.
Van Dijk? Listen, you guys, I've got a feeling you're going to come in and try and take Mickey van der Ven, but the different story. That's the big thing for me. Yeah. Some managers come in and pick up a mess. I don't think he picked up a mess at all. I think he picked up a squad that have been involved in many competitions for the last 4 or 5 years. Yeah, does it need a bit of a refresh next year? Yes, but I think everyone just gets a little bit too carried away. Klopp's leaving. It's the end of the world. It's madness, man.
Yeah, I was worried when he left because he's all I'd known for 9 years. But yeah, I knew Slot. Once I did my due diligence on Slot, I was like, no, I'm excited about this guy. This guy seems to know exactly what he's doing. He seems to have, and he's got a slight pedigree as well. I know people don't want to hear it because they go, oh, it's the Dutch league. But he got to the conference final with Feyenoord. He won the league with Feyenoord. And then before COVID lockdown, Holland didn't come back after lockdown. They just stopped it. He was joint top with Ajax on points. With Alkmaar. Like, this guy is a good man. It's strange people have doubted him so much. Do you know what I mean? But
look at what Ten Hag done, Drifty. I think, unfortunately, Ten Hag has like stained the Dutch league's reputation. A couple of imports that he brought in as well. True. I think it stained it, and I think people were sort of people were just doing the comparison because of their hairstyle. You know, they're going, "Oh, look, another bald manager from Holland coming in, like
another bald fraud."
Yeah, literally a bald fraud and stuff. Like it's obviously lazy comparison, and it's just obviously there to get clicks and things like that. But yeah, I don't think in the footballing circles in the footballing world it was that mad of an appointment. But I think to a lot of us as fans who don't follow the Dutch league and the Eredivisie that closely, it just looked like that's a left field appointment from Liverpool.
Dan, do you know the funny thing is it's mad how we tie people's nationalities or clubs to each other. Like if Spurs are linked with a player from Holland, we automatically go, oh, remember what happened with Vincent Janssen? What's that got to do with this bloke over it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, oh, can't buy someone from the French league because we once bought Ndombele. Yeah. And you're like,
we get Bundesliga. You get it now, obviously, with Werner, about Bundesliga tax and things like that. And some players have come over from that league and been fantastic. Or like Lewandowski scores goals everywhere he goes. Do you know what I mean?
Just a quick one before we predict the Premier League kind of results, fixtures this weekend. Credit to Forest, they're doing well at the minute. They've got
another good manager who got doubted just because he didn't do well at Tottenham.
Yeah,
look what he did at Wolves.
He only had 10 games at Tottenham. But by the way, here's a stat for you. Sorry, I know I said I wouldn't talk about Spurs. Spurs currently have played 10 games under I always forget his name because I don't really rate him. Ange, that's it. I'm joking. Right, Spurs. He's not for me. That's another day, another conversation. He's not for me at all. But Spurs this season, this is year 2, 10 games under Postecoglou, right? We've won 5, drawn 1 and lost 4. I've lost 4 of 10. In Nuno's first 10 games, he only had 10. In Nuno's first 10 games, he won 5 and lost 5. But yet this guy we've got now is being paraded as, oh my God, he is brilliant. He is Pep. He is the Australian. Yeah, Nuno was crap and everyone wanted him out. It's like, isn't it funny how perspectives work, right? Because this guy sometimes plays good football and Nuno didn't. I'm not saying I wanted Nuno, by the way, but hats off. What a really good job he's done. And do you know that centre-back pairing at Forest, which is the best, if I'm not wrong, the second best defence in the Premier League at the moment?
Bro, they're back to, I think for me.
Do you know how much they cost, Said? Do you know Murillo and Milenkovic?
That's what I want next summer.
Right, cost £20 million between them.
That's mad,
crazy.
£20 million, and the only team that's conceded less is Liverpool. What a really good job he's done, and that's without Morgan Gibbs-White, who's out injured. I think Ward-Prowse has missed quite a few games for them as well. What a really hats off to him.
Yeah, he's a good manager, man. And if I'm being honest with you, Murillo, they're going to struggle to hold on to him.
I want him next summer. That's the one I want. I can't lie.
Yeah, they're going to struggle to hold on to him.
That we're trying to build. He's the one I'm looking at because he's got the attributes.
Can I say something really quickly?
Yeah.
No, someone in the chat said, "Yeah, but Sava, that Spurs team was miles clear of this one." I just want to remind you that Nuno had a Harry Kane who was sulking because he didn't get his move to Man City.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
His defense was people like Emerson Royale, Davinson Sanchez, Eric Dyer, Ryan Sessegnon. His
Longley.
midfield was people like Winks and Sissoko. So I'm sorry, if you're going to talk about the club, you really need to know this team is much better than that team he had. He had Son and Kane, yes, but a Kane that had thrown his toys right out the pram because he didn't get his move. So let's not rewrite history here, right?
Yeah, there you go, people. All right, let's run through these fixtures. Lexi says, does Ange have Harry Kane and prime Son?
I mean, he doesn't, but do you know what? All these managers that had prime Kane and prime Son, look at the 9 players behind them. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've just said we had defenses with Dyer, Sanchez, Longley, Sessegnon,
Oh, it was bad,
Aurier,
it was bad.
Royale, Winks, Sissoko, Skip. Like, yeah, you've got good forwards, but you can't just have 2 good forwards and say that's a great team. Come on now. Let's not rewrite history.
Yeah, facts. Right, Brentford versus Bournemouth. I can't lie. I'm gonna go for Brentford win at home. They seem to know what they're doing, man. I think they've won all their games at home, have they? Or they've not?
They've got the best home record in the league. They've got the best home record in the league.
Best home record in the league. I'm gonna say
This is a tough game, though.
It's
bro.
a tough game, man.
Bournemouth do you see
Bournemouth got beat
Bournemouth
by
just cooked
Leicester.
in their last 3 teams, man?
I know, but away from home, they got beat by. Did they not get beat by Leicester away from home like the other week, man? I'm gonna go for Brentford to win 3-2.
I don't think Bournemouth lose this. They went to Villa and didn't lose. I don't think they lose this. I think this will be a 2-2 draw.
2-2.
Mm.
What are you saying, Dan?
I reckon Brentford 1-0.
Yeah. Sava?
It's a really tough one. They've both had really good seasons so far, haven't they? I'm gonna go with 1-1. I'm gonna go with 1-1. I think they're both good teams. Good. Both have got very good managers.
Yeah. Okay. Next one, Crystal Palace, Fulham. Fulham away from home. Are they all that? I'm gonna go for a Palace win, you know.
Saeed, their
their
squad
injury
is
list, man?
decimated at the
No
moment.
Eze, no Wharton, like they got
No,
nothing.
but
Even Hughes is suspended. Like, bro, they've got no one, bro.
Nah, I can't lie to you. I'm gonna go with Crystal Palace at home, man. Fulham don't give me that kind of like they mean it, bro. Away from home, they on it, you know.
You see their last game, bro.
That's at home. Away from home this season. How many wins have they got away from home this season?
Well, they've got 5 points from 5 away games.
That's what I'm saying. It's not
Crystal
great, man.
Palace at home are difficult, but with the amount of injuries they've got, I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Fulham.
I'm gonna go with 2-1 Palace.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 3-1 Fulham on that.
Oh,
maybe even 3-0 actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-0 Palace. Listen, Palace beat the mighty Spurs at home, so they can beat Fulham.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go with 2-0. Palace is a really tricky little ground, so
yeah,
it is.
In a really nice part of London. So I'm going with 2-0 with Palace.
This one here is going to be an ugly game, man. West Ham versus Everton. I mean, you know, there was the reports coming out today that even if he loses this game, he's still got his job. You know, his job is still secured. Lopetegui. I can't.
But isn't that a good thing? Isn't that a good thing though? Let's be honest. Savage just made the point about how Nuno was treated after only 10 games at Spurs. Like, I never believed that a manager should be given the first season of like, right, if you don't do this, you're gone. I understand you can have standards, and I understand it can get to a point where it's like, all right, nah, come on, we gotta. But you do have to give him time to implement what he possibly wants, and at least wait until January, February before you go, all right, yeah, nah, it's not working. Get rid of him. Like, come on, man. How can he already be getting sacked in November? I think that's crazy, man.
But you know what, though? For me, it's like at least with Nuno, he had a pedigree in terms of he got Wolves to Europe. You know what I mean? Like, what has he done though? You know what I'm
Getting
saying?
relegated.
Well, he's clearly done something to get the Real Madrid and the Spanish national team. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Lopetegui can't be that bad of a manager if he's actually been given both of those jobs.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with draw. I'm gonna go with 1-1. It's a one. Just a draw written all over it for me. Savo, what are you saying?
Yeah, sorry, I was just googling what he's won. He's won quite a bit.
No, but I'm saying there's in credit in the bank in the league.
No, I know.
in the Premier
I'm,
League. Yeah.
I'm just looking at him. He's won things at Seville, won things at Real Madrid, and I'm like, all right, you listen. I don't rate him particularly, but I'm going to go with. Apparently, they've got no Bowen and no Kudus. I'm gonna
no
go.
Bowen.
Apparently, I don't know. Listen, I just believe everything I read in the chat.
Sugar.
Let
me see now here.
I'm going to go
Yeah.
with. I think Everton might snatch a real dirty away win. I'm talking about backs to the wall, send the big boys up for a corner, and you know what I mean. Someone like Keane, someone really bad like Keane getting a header in the last minute or something. I'm going to go for 1-0, a really dusty, dirty game. 1-0.
Dan, what are you saying?
2-1 Everton.
2-1 Everton. Drifty, what are you saying?
Yeah, after hearing no Bowen, because I knew Kudos was out with the red, but no Bowen, I was going to go 1-0 West Ham. No Bowen, I'm going 1-0 Everton.
Yeah. Okay, say no more. Next one, we got Brighton, Man City. I'm going to go with 2-1 Brighton. I'm going for it. I think they'll do it. I think they'll beat Man City 2-1.
Hang on, what happened to Wolves? Sorry, the Wolves game?
Sorry. Oh, Wolves, sorry.
Did I fall asleep? I've missed the game. I've missed the game.
Wolves get their first win of the season. I think it's been coming. I think they deserve it. They've not played well this season. Wolves to win 3-1. If they lose this Wolves, Gary O'Neill should be sacked.
No, come on. He's done a good job at Wolves, bro.
If they lose this game, Gary O'Neill, P45.
Have you been watching them, though, Say? The results
But
haven't
I'm saying this is your last chance now to prove that if you get this win, don't get me wrong, they shouldn't be there because they've been playing some good football. But if they lose to Southampton at home, you cannot say you don't deserve to be sacked. I'm sorry.
Look, I think if somebody had said to you, right, you're not gonna win your first 9 games. I know it's 10, by the way. I'm coming to that. You're not gonna win your first 9 games, and then you've got Palace at home and Southampton at home. You've got to be winning one of them, right? You've got to be winning them. And they got the draw versus Palace. I think they might just have a bit too much for Southampton. This is a must-win game from a point of view that they are playing a team in the relegation zone with them. They've got to win, right? You've got to win, because the boos that were going around Molineux before they scored the other night, when Palace missed chance after chance, that's when you know the fans you've lost them, right? So he's got to win it, guys. He's got to.
Yeah. Okay. So
I think he will, though. 1-0 Wolves, I'm going to say.
1-0 Wolves. Dan, what you said?
I reckon I'm going to go 3-2 Southampton.
I'm going to go 4-0 Wolves. I think they're going to turn up.
Okay.
If all Dan's predictions are right so far, we might have a record goal scoring weekend.
Yeah.
No, really?
That's what I'm saying.
And all the away teams are going to win. I think, have you gone so far for all the away teams, Dan?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, love it. Get down the bookies, mate. You'll make some serious cash on it.
Yeah, I was going to say. Brighton, I've gone for 2-1. Sava?
To Brighton?
Yeah, Brighton 2-1, yes.
I think Man City will nick this 2-1 or 3-2. I think they've got to. I think they need a win. I can't see them losing a 4th game straight off. I think De Bruyne will start, and I think that they will. You will see a few tweaks. I think they're going to win it 3-2 or 2-1.
Okay. Say no more. Okay.
I'm gonna go 1-0 City. Gavardio, screamer.
Okay. Say no more. Next game, Liverpool, Aston Villa. I'm gonna go for 2-0. Villa. 2-0. 2-0 Liverpool win. I think Villa away from home, I think they're not that team, man. They're not that team. But they're in a bit of not a crisis, but a little bit of a rut now. No wins.
They've got the third best away record in the league.
They've been bad after Champions League, though.
Like, this is what I don't like, though, guys. I don't like the fact they've lost 3 in a row. Like I said, you don't just keep losing when you're a good team.
4, innit? 4.
Is it 4 in a row?
No, it's 3 in
Carabao Cup.
Oh.
They lost to...
It's 3. It's 3, and the game before that was a draw at home to Bournemouth. They've lost 3.
My bad, yeah.
Yeah.
But no wins in 4 then. No wins in 4.
See, yeah, I hate that. I really wanted them to win their midweek game. I wanted them to win so badly against Bruges in the Champions League, to get a win, to not have this like extra motivation that they can't just keep dropping points and losing games. So I'm a little more worried than probably some other Liverpool fans are about this one. I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Liverpool, but I am stressed. And I think the added pressure is also on top, because other games have pressure based on that game. But if Brighton can pull off something, and if Chelsea can pull off something and we win, that's going into the international break could put a real psychological blow in City and Arsenal's feelings of the title race. If both of those teams drop points and we win, and we get a 4-point lead over City and a 10-point lead over Arsenal, say, for example, that could really help to add a little bit of pressure to both of those two. No, say it would be 5 points if City lost. If somehow Brighton can pull off the win in Chelsea, come on, you lot, Dan, please just get this win.
Of course.
Please just get the win this weekend, man. Please.
It's a strange one, Villa, because like Villa in the first half against Spurs last week, they were set up so well. You know what I mean? They defended brilliantly. They looked really good in midfield. Onana looked like an absolute beast. Second half, it's like a completely different Spurs and Villa came out. So I think Liverpool will just nick this. I think Liverpool will just nick this 2-1 against Villa.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with a 2-1, you know.
Man United, Leicester. I'm going to predict United to win 3-1. I think we'll, even though Leicester scored some goals this season, I think they've been all right. I don't like Leicester have been all right, you know, like people have been looking down on Leicester.
Put 2 past you, though, Si.
Sorry?
Leicester's B team put 2 past you.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. They listen, Jamie Vardy, I'm worried about him. I'm worried about Jamie Vardy.
Isn't he about
Jamie
7?
Vardy?
Now, you'll be fine, Si. 2-1 United. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Is there any pressure on Man United? I don't mean this disrespectfully. Is there any pressure on Man United to actually get wins with regards to like the season is over in terms of winning anything? So like, what is the pressure of not winning a game at the moment?
No, you have to win. Now, for me, there has to be pressure to win. Always. For me, we want to keep winning and get into that top 6 realistically and win the Europa League. That's my aim this season, I think.
You got to win the Europa League. Yeah,
we've already won it. We've already won it according to Spurs fans, so you can't win it as well.
I don't know. Not by judging by the other night. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Galatasaray, you know, they look like a team who could stop someone winning that tournament. They got some play. I mean, they've lost the Cardi now. Then it was an ACL.
That is a bad injury. They didn't need to keep him on. You know, I don't know why they kept him on, man. That is sad, man.
Because they took Osherman off and Tottenham made it 3-2, and it did get a bit techie for the last 10-15. So I think they still wanted a threat up front.
How that game was not 10-2 is beyond me. I mean, they had 30 shots in the game.
I put money on Osherman to get a hat-trick. When he came off, I was livid. I was so annoyed.
How many chances did he have in the first half alone, Osherman?
Yeah.
Like offsides, hit the post, great saves.
Crazy.
I know you wouldn't have enjoyed it, Sava, but as a neutral, it was one of the best games I've watched.
Honestly, I didn't watch along.
It was so entertaining. I really enjoyed that game. Like, I really enjoyed it.
It's really good when you see your defense torn apart every time a team attacks. Look, it was. So I know we're not talking about that, but it was just. Listen, Spurs are brilliant at home and equally bad away. And that's why I've said for years, we're just Jekyll and Hyde. We'll batter Ipswich this weekend, and then everyone will go, oh, Spurs are amazing. Then we'll get battered away. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my team.
So yeah, we've done that results there for Leicester game. Nottingham Forest, I'm gonna keep them to keep on winning. I think I'm gonna go for 2-0 Forest.
Oh,
Ooh.
Forest for the Champions League, eh?
Hey,
Where they belong.
Where they
Yeah,
belong.
yeah. They've got pedigree. They've got pedigree.
Yeah, they
I think
really
this game
do.
screams a draw, by the way. Forest Newcastle.
Me too.
I agree.
Like a 1-1
1-1.
draw
I
or
think the
something
game's
like
going to
1-1.
be
Yeah,
1-1.
I'm going 1-1. Chris
Yeah.
Wood to score again, though.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah, true. Next
He's
team.
on fire.
yeah, absolutely. Spurs Ipswich. Listen, I'm gonna go 3-0 Spurs. Should be formality this one.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
gonna throw in
good
a
at
2-2
home.
draw here.
We're good at home. We what we'll probably do is have a first 45 minutes where we look like Jekyll. Or I never remember which one was the good one in Jekyll and Hyde. I don't even remember. But the first we'll have 45 minutes where we look like we've never played together and it looks really bad and we don't know how to score goals. Then what we'll do is we'll have a 15-20 minute blitz where we blow them apart. That's what Spurs do. So I think it will be 3-1 or 4-1 at home. Ask me away, I'm not predicting that. So
3-1.
Yeah.
I agree. 3-1
Yeah.
Spurs.
And then the big one, Chelsea versus Arsenal. It's the big one.
It is.
I'm saying 2-1 to Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm with you on that side, by the way. I was gonna say 2-1.
2-1.
I'm making that 3 people at 2-1.
2-1.
Unfortunately, I think Arsenal's going to continue their momentum. I think it's going to be 2-1 Arsenal.
There you go. That's the table this weekend.
Right,
Liverpool
Dan.
can clear if they
But
win.
please prove me wrong.
Yeah.
If you look at this table, right, if City and Liverpool both win and Chelsea and Arsenal draw, they're just pulling away. aren't
Yeah, I
they?
know.
They're pulling away.
No.
But equally, like Drifty said, if Liverpool win and City don't, then it's the worst thing in the world going into an international break, isn't it? On a loss. So Dr. Tottenham.
Do you know what? I just want Liverpool to have a 3-point cushion over City before we play them. So if we lose, we're still in the conversation.
Yeah. It makes it more dangerous, I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Right then. That's been a good show. What a show, guys. I don't know if we're on 500 likes yet, which is, I'm going to check quickly now. We should be on 500 likes. Let me just see now. YouTube has your YouTube guys been bugging lately, just in terms of like processing things. But yeah, 446 guys likes. Let's get these up to 500. I'll be back later on at 10 p.m. Got a show with Abs and Liban, My United show, debate show. So we'll be there at 10 p.m. So join us. Sava, solid show. And are you doing anything today, or are you night off or chilling?
I'm live at 9 actually to discuss the up and down that is Tottenham Hotspur. So yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Why couldn't I have supported someone else? But never mind. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. BD Dan, big up to you, bro.
Yeah, pleasure being on, mate. All the best for all of you boys at the weekend for your games as well. I'm sure it'll be entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, big up to you, Drifty, man. Love for coming on.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, man. Always enjoy it. Always been a pleasure. And yeah, this weekend, man, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. And you know what, Said? I don't know if you were part of this, but it was extremely shameless. You guys was calling it the Manchester Derby when it was Sporting versus City in the Champions League.
Come on.
The shamelessness was just out of this world.
We had
Manchester Derby. I swear, hey,
let's do a lot of something. We have to do a lot of things. You get me?
They've got to celebrate something, right? They've got to celebrate something. Like we beat Man City 4-1. We beat Man City.
Crazy.
Can I ask a quick question before you end the show? Do any of you see Gyökeres being at Man United in the summer? For me, I just think it makes complete sense. Like, I don't want it. I just feel like if you're if you're Ruben Amorim, you're saying, can we go and get this 30, 40 goal a season striker? I think
It depends. It
Just putting
depends
it out
because
there.
it could be very similar to what happened with Arsenal, though. Where how do you fit him in when you've got when you've got Xerxes and you've got
Sure.
Hoyland?
But Rude's already
How
said
do
it.
you fit him in?
Rude
Sure.
has come out with a comment saying you're gonna have to need a big boy striker if you want to get far in this league. He's just come
Xerxes
out
on
and
his
said
way
it,
back
so,
to Italy anyway, I think.
yeah.
But
there you go.
is there not a way in which you could fit? You know, when you look.
No,
at
Xerxes
style-
can be a 10. Yeah, Xerxes can be a
Yeah,
10,
like-
and then we can,
But you know, he plays like that kind of 3-4-3. That there's a way that you can shift around. And Xerxes is still young enough that he can mold into these positions, right? He's not an out and out for me striker, but I just worry because that's who I really wanted this summer. I dream. We don't buy players like that, but I just think that's the sort of thing that catapults Man United for me back into a top club.
yeah, 100%.
Because you lot love spending money, I think you'll go for Osimhen more than Gyökeres.
Nah, I don't want Osimhen now. I think that was my stocks have gone with Osimhen. I just look at his chances, the way he misses it, and the way he plays now. Not
But
really
striker-
fun.
No, but I don't think anybody can say that Gyökeres is a better striker than Osimhen. That's real recency.
I think stylistically, I want Gyökeres more than Osimhen. Stylistically,
I think
that's
he
fair
offers
enough.
more. I think he offers more, Drifty. Gyökeres is a for me, Osimhen is, when they sprang into life, he's always in the right place. Gyökeres for me offers a bit more of that physical presence. He can drive with the ball from deep. His link-up play is very good.
I agree.
I'll take both. But
there you go, man. But guys, hope you enjoy the show. Big up to Dan Potts as well. We're gonna raid Rants. I think Rants is going live now, so go over to Rants' channel, raid Saeed TV, and I'll see you next week on Agree to Disagree. We're out. Peace.